so this was requested by Foxhound1001. Most of the music that I listen to is Christian, and that's just because I've grown up as a Christian, and so I like being encouraged by Christian music and hearing worship songs or songs about God. But that doesn't mean that if you don't like listening to Christian music, you're less of a Christian than me. And just to expand upon that, my roommate does not like most Christian music, and she's such an inspiration to me in how she's living her Christian life, but she's a music major, and so she listens to the songs and realizes that they all sound the same, and that completely annoys her. And so if you're like that, that's totally fine, and I don't think it's wrong if you don't want to listen to Christian music. At the same time, I think you shouldn't just look at Christian music and be like, oh my gosh, I hate it because of what you hear on the radio. There are thousands of different Christian bands and artists. There's Christian rap, there's Christian hip-hop, there's Christian dubstep, like whatever random kind of music you like, there's going to be a Christian band singing that. But if you also want to listen to regular secular music, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I just think it can be a negative influence. Most of the top 100 music you hear on the radio is talking about drugs or alcohol or partying or abusing women or has tons of curse words in it, and I just think that's a negative message, and even though you might not realize it, it might be having kind of a negative effect on you. One of the things that I do not tolerate in the music I download from iTunes is curse words or using God's name in vain. I see this as more of a problem than if it has a negative message about like sex or partying or drugs, because when you're hearing curse words with a cute melody, you're going to become desensitized to the curse word. If I was filling my mind with cursing music all the time, then I would become completely desensitized to it and I would think it was okay. And that's the same with using God's name in vain. If you're hearing that all the time through your music and then you're hearing your friends say it all the time, you're going to not think it's such a bad thing anymore, and that's kind of beyond your control. And that can be really annoying if there's one song and it has one curse word and then the whole song has a positive message. It's just that one word. What I've been doing is listening to a lot of YouTube artists who do covers of songs. Their covers are sometimes better than the original. A lot of the YouTube artists censor out the curse words. And so, for example, the song Hit the Lights by Selena Gomez, I heard, and then when I heard there was that curse word, I'm like, oh, why do you have to ruin the whole song? But then Megan Nicole did a cover of it that was even better. I downloaded that song, so you can still hear the song, but just not get the negative language in it. You also kind of want to be aware of the messages that are coming through the songs. A lot of people say that they listen to the music for how it sounds, not for the lyrics, but you're still kind of unconsciously hearing the lyrics. If a song has a negative message in it, like it's talking about doing drugs or beating up women or partying or having sex before marriage, I think that's kind of a negative thing that you don't necessarily want in your mind. But I don't think that if one song, part of the song is talking about that it's necessarily a terrible song. For example, the song We Are Young by Fun, there's about like a 10-second thing in the first chorus that's a drug reference, and I own that song. Does that mean I'm going to go do drugs because I'm listening to that? No. My roommate and I were actually singing along to it the other day, and we talked about how we're like terrified of doing drugs, and so that song is not going to tempt me to do drugs. But if Nicole was a drug addict and she was always pressuring me to do drugs, and then I heard that song, that might kind of be a temptation. And so I think it's kind of like a lot of these songs are personal convictions. Like, is that going to tempt you to do that thing? I can't decide for anyone like which songs are necessarily going to impact them negatively, but I do know that songs that are talking about having sex before marriage or talking about getting drunk all the time, I just don't like that stuff, and so I don't like those songs. The antithesis of Christianity is that if you fall in love with God and you focus on God and you love loving God, then everything else is going to fall into place, and you don't need to listen to videos like this because you're going to know that you don't want to hear songs with negative messages because you love God so much. But at the same time, I don't want anyone to feel guilty because they're listening to some songs that have negative messages in them. I think it's just the fact that that's what our culture is, and it's really hard to separate yourself from your culture. One of the things that I do that I really recommend is if you hear a song that you like, going on YouTube and looking up the lyrics video and listening to it with the lyrics, and then you can decide if you want to buy it from there, because sometimes you'll hear a song and buy it and then kind of be shocked by a word in it or by a message, and so it's good to kind of preview it before spending your 99 cents getting the song. If you do choose to listen to Christian music, you're going to be more positive, and when you're going through stuff in your life, you're going to get through it better because it's such a positive message. And so even though some of the top 100 songs might be more poppy, more fun to dance to, I think that overall you're going to be more solid in your faith and more solid just in your life if you're listening to music that's a good influence and that has a positive, uplifting message. And then if you really do like the poppy top 100 songs, but they have one curse word in it, just buy the YouTube version and it'll probably sound better. And Christian music can be really convicting too. Like when Britt Nicole's new album Gold came out, there was this one song called Look Like Love, and I would listen to it on the train on the way home from high school, and it would just cause me to look for ways to serve other people and to just perform random acts of kindness. And then the song The Lost Get Found by Britt Nicole from her previous album was just talking about being strong in your faith. Like, don't let your light go out because you need to be a light for other people. And so when you listen to Christian music, when you're surrounded by non-Christians, it just gets you fired up for God, and you realize that you're not alone in your faith, and you just get so encouraged. And then if you're in a public place, even though you can't just start singing worship songs, listening to it can just be really cool. Another thing that we talked about in my youth group one time would be imagining Jesus is sitting next to you, listening to your music with you. Would you be embarrassed by what you're listening to? Would he have a problem with the messages that you're putting inside your head? And something else that kind of relates to this channel more is most music is either about like partying, but also like relationships with a significant other, and I feel like that can put an unnecessary pressure on anyone to like want to be in a relationship, like you need to be in a relationship. Whereas if you're listening to Christian music, you're realizing that, you know, you have this epic relationship with God that you were created to be in, and so you don't need to be with a person right now. And I get so many messages from people being like, oh my gosh, I need a boyfriend, I need a girlfriend. No, you don't. And if you're listening to music like that and getting that media influence, I think that's where that like weird opinion is coming from, where you like need to be with someone right now. So most of my music is Christian, and some of my favorite bands to listen to are Sidewalk Prophets, Britt Nicole, Barlow Girl, Skillet, Switchfoot, Addison Road, Rachel Chan, and then I also listen to One by One, which is Pepperline's a cappella band. But then I also listen to secular music like Taylor Swift, One Direction, Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez. And recently I've been getting into a lot of YouTube artists like Megan and Liz, Tiffany Alvord, Luke Connor. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye! Hey guys, it's Lizzie. Today I'm going to talk about modesty.